Welcome back to Big Mouth, and fancy seeing you here. And you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, find a chair, pew, sofa, whatever you call it, and let's talk about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1. So, this is the final season. Well, it is and it isn't, because we're getting loads of Game of Thrones spin offs and prequels, and maybe set after Season 8 as well. Who knows? So, Game of Thrones isn't actually going anywhere, but this is the final season of this chapter, so it's very, very exciting. So, episode 1 of this final season was a very, very light affair, but the penultimate scene reminds us what a brutal world the Game of Thrones world is. And of course, spoiler alert, go away if you don't want to know. We finally know, and we knew, but Jon Snow finally knows that he's a Targaryen, and of course his good friend Sam told him this. Now, of course, Sam found out himself that his family had been executed by the Queen, and that was a very devastating moment as well. Sometimes with Game of Thrones, you forget stuff, and then you get reminded of stuff, and you go, "Oh yeah, Sam's a great character, isn't he?" And to put him right in the middle there at Winterfell is pretty awesome as well. So I love Sam, and I love that he was the one who told Jon. So all of a sudden, it's not just a case of him knowing that Stark wasn't his, Ned Stark wasn't his father. And I like what he said. He goes, "Ned Stark was the most honourable man I knew. He wouldn't lie to me." He said, "Well, that's why he did, to protect you, because the king would have wiped you out." So it was, a really, really good moment. And I found this episode was about emotional reunions. I mean, I found myself having tears down my cheeks quite often, and I'm thinking, Mick, what's going on here? But it was a very emotional episode. And at the end there, I think to stand there facing a young man in a wheelchair that you pushed out of a window and caused said disability is a very major moment. And I'm so embarrassed because I forgot the characters' names, but you know who I'm talking about. If you're diehard Game of Thrones fans, you know who I'm talking about. The thing is with me in Game of Thrones, I don't remember anyone's names. I know the characters, I love the characters, I just don't remember a lot of names. Anyway, you all know that moment. That was the moment we've been waiting for a very long time, and it was very emotional, very raw. Now, let's talk about Cersei. Now, is it just me, and you can let me know, Game of Thrones fans, or is Cersei starting to act like a mad queen? Can we tell that she's slowly losing her mind? To me, this is where they're going. Now, of course, a lot of fans will be very excited about this, because this will echo the Mad King, and this is going to be how we will get to see her demise. But to me, all these seasons we've had the well-adjusted Cersei, the cold-hearted Cersei, the cunning Cersei. So it's been very, very, very... If it does end this way, it's going to be kind of disappointing to me, because you're kind of seeing her be weak, and you want to see her be defeated at her strengths. So that will be bittersweet for me personally, but we will see what happens there. Lots of little reunions as well, which I really, really enjoyed. Look, it's a really good episode, but it's also a very light episode. It's not kind of... I don't think Game of Thrones season premieres are known for kind of being up and at 'em. But yeah, it was really about reunions. It was about setting this final season up, and we've got a lot to look forward to. A lot of shocks, a lot of twists. Who's going to die? Who's not? And of course, there was humour in this episode. And of course, trust Tyrion Lannister to get kind of the best lines. I loved his reunions that he had in the episode as well. Sansa, that's the word I'm looking for. His reunion with Sansa. That was interesting. It was emotional, but both characters were very kind of not cold towards each other. They kept each other at length, which was very, very interesting. But that was a really good little scene as well. So basically, Jon Snow is under pressure from his own people because he's come back with, this queen, a Targaryen, and nobody trusts her. He also comes back with Tyrion Lannister. Again, no one's going to trust him. So it's very, 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 very interesting how this season goes, who survives, who doesn't. I don't for one moment believe that Tyrion is going to die. He's on a lot of people's death lists, but I don't believe this character will die. In fact, he could end up being the king of the seven kingdoms. Why not? I think in a lot of ways, Game of Thrones is Tyrion's story of this man who is hated by his own family, and rises up to become a good man, rises up to become a hero, the hero nobody expected him to be. Wouldn't it be a great end to the story if he becomes the leader of these seven kingdoms? Or if everyone gets wiped out apart from him? I don't know how this is going to end. And I've said before, a part of me would like the Night King to win, just to show the futility of this battle for these seven kingdoms. That's what humanity does. Greed, greed, greed. So wouldn't it be a great moral to this story to say that your greed will get you nowhere? In the end, a Night King will arrive and will wipe you all out. Wipe us all out. I'm going to give this episode 8.5 out of 10. It was good. It was good setup. I enjoyed it. As I say, the penultimate scene with the young king was absolutely brutal. And when he lights up as well, don't forget that it's a young boy. You're seeing a young boy, and a brutal message from the Night King to kind of the human beings. And can they do this? Can they actually defeat the Night King? Of course, they now have a weapon. They know the kind of White Walker's weaknesses, but will it be enough? In reality, whatever they did, the White Walkers would wipe these people out. But of course, this is fiction, this is storytelling. So the good guys could win, but are the human beings the good guys? Is humanity ever the good guys? What kind of story is Mr. Martin trying to tell us here? Is it a tale of where you're warning people what can happen when you're greedy, as I've just spoken about? Or is it just going to be a story where the good guys and the good girls win? Well, we will find out in the next few episodes. I'm very excited. It's going to be a very, very emotional journey, and we're going to take it together.